Hello, my name is Tabitha,
Hello, my name is Chindi.
and welcome to
The
Radius. And of course, you have been following us on Facebook. We have since upgraded, and we now have an Instagram, a YouTube, a Twitter, so on and so forth, and even a website. And of course, at the Radius, we believe problems are opportunities, and our mission is to enlighten, engage, and enrich our community.
Yes, and we've been doing this for quite a while. You can always access that information on our Facebook page, as well as we'll have the links put on YouTube video as well. So thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, of course, and thank you for learning and growing with us. We appreciate you. So today, we have a hotly contested topic, something that goes on, well, actually, it's not too hotly contested. Most people just kind of comply, is the premise. We kind of all comply when you have a friend or family member who has a rule, and the rule is when you come to the house, you have to take off your shoes. And why it's contentious is because not that it's so much when you come to their house, like i.e. when you know you have a friend that's like that. What about when there's a party and you've been invited and then you're confronted with that and you weren't prepared? I.e. that one Sex and the City episode where Carrie was like, well, this is an outfit. She didn't anticipate that. And this is something that came up in our debates. And I'm not even on the side against not wearing your shoes because I just, again, comply like we all do in our culture. We like to be polite. And we like to, basically etiquette is a thing still, believe it or not. And we all kind of want to comply and show respect. House rules, Vegas rules, so to speak. But it's kind of contentious because there's kind of like this undercurrent in our society where people feel like, well, you invited me. So we're going to discuss that and all the issues around that, right, Shindy?
Yes, definitely, and it's very interesting. I had a lot of debates on this. I look forward to discussing this. I was really looking forward to this topic when I saw it on the radio. So when are we going to do this? I'm really happy that we're discussing it today.
So do you have that rule? Do you have a no shoe in the house rule?
No, in my house is you know how my house looks like. Come on, no house rule. But here's the thing, you don't have that in your house.
No, but I don't wear shoes, but I don't enforce it. I don't command or demand that you don't wear shoes or anything of that nature.
I mean, you and your roommate are mates because your house is very clean. I must confess. It's like, okay, I need to remove. In fact, the first time I went there, I was, do I have to remove the shoes out of it? And they were like, no. And I was kind of shocked because it's really clean, spotless, no dirt at all, and and you don't enforce that rule, so it's kind of amazing.
One thing I do want to say is this is not a slight to any cultural rules about not wearing your shoes. My opinion is that actually it'd probably be for the best for us all to adopt this rule as a culture, because clearly other societies, other cultures are onto something, because there is documented evidence that you are tracking things in the house. And also people who have children tend to have this rule. Maybe when they were single or just married and no kids were around, they didn't have that rule, but the parenting magazines and things of that nature kind of suggest don't allow people to bring their shoes in, and it's kind of like a sterile sanitation thing that you want to keep in mind for the children. So this is not a slight to any of these situations. It's just sort of like a social faux pas, kind of unspoken thing that nobody talks about, but we hear about it. We kind of do hear about it after the fact, because if you're confronted with this when you didn't expect it, what do you think?
Yes, and here's the thing. I mean, there are people of different opinions about this, and it's important to listen to both sides. I mean, that's one of the missions that we stated, is to educate each other and to have these discussions. And there are people say, wait a second, you invited me, so why should I have to remove the shoes? Or wait a second, you didn't tell me before, why do I have to remove the shoes now? And so these are very important, and we're going to have this discussion in detail. A lot of opinions. I had these discussions with friends, I did some research with other people, and there were so many different views.
And again, I'm of the opinion that if you ask me, I'm just going to do it, because I want to err on the side of being too polite rather than being less, and putting up a funk or some kind of resistance, you know what I mean? Because in our society, we kind of want the social norms to be fulfilling each other's expectations, so to speak. So if you come to my home, it's the expectation is that there aren't shoes. Why should I make my own demands on your house, right? What my comfort level is. So subconsciously, and I don't know if it's part of our culture to be kind of obedient when someone makes that demand, we want to concede to them. And many other people have this perspective I've found as far as me informally asking on our social media and things. And another person mirrored me where they said, I don't wear shoes in the house, but yet I don't like have a rule. It's not a hard and fast rule. Why I even wanted to talk about it, because I am having a party soon, and it made me think of how do you enforce that? We have wood floors. Like, how do you even enforce that? Do I say something? What are things of that nature? So we heard in your research, you heard all kinds of responses about, it's that person's house, it's polite, it's understood in most cultures. But did you get any voices of dissent?
Yes, and I had a huge dissent actually from someone, very, very good friend of mine in New York City. I'm not going to mention her name because she didn't give me that permission, but it was a very interesting approach. And she basically, I'll try to read some of it. I'm going to put that on the link in our Radius page,
okay,
so you can look at it and see what she said. Basically, I'll read it out and I'll try to be as quick as possible. It said, she said the following: if you invite me to your home, then you shouldn't require me to remove my shoes. You invited me, and having to remove my shoes was not a condition of the invite. I didn't invite myself to your home. I may or may not decide to remove my shoes as a courtesy, but I shouldn't be obligated to. What if I were to remove my shoes and get a splinter? Or what if I'm a diabetic and remove my shoes, stab my foot on a piece of your furniture, and get an infection which leads to amputation or possible death? Google diabetes and stabbed toe, and one of the big rules is never go barefoot, not even indoors. Or what if you pressure me to remove my shoes and we are in your kitchen and the knife falls off the counter or hot grease falls and injures me? Are you going to pay my medical bills? Or simply, what if I'm uncomfortable or self-conscious about showing my feet? Or I have a disability or deformity that I don't want you or your guests to know about? Or what if I'm poor and I'm ashamed of that hole or those holes in my socks?
Okay, can I I just want to remark on that. So everything up until the point of the end where they started talking about other people's feelings, because that's where me and that individual who replied that way have an ideological similarity. I don't like to hurt people. So yeah, I don't want you to feel embarrassed because of me. I don't want to put you on the spot. So that's why, again, I don't have that rule. So like my psychology is like in that response. It's a huge part of it. I'm never trying to sort of embarrass people, or you have I always think about that, like people have their hang-ups and there's things that they're self-conscious about, and by all means I'm not trying to make it worse. So from an ideological standpoint, agree largely with that. As far as all the other accidental things, absolutely. These are facts. These are simple facts that they said. And since at the Radius we're solution oriented, I do have a solution in mind. But do you have any other remarks about that response?
Yes, and to be frank, I actually have to add to that. I had an experience when I went to a very, very nice couple, and we're having a meeting of young people. Very nice people. Everything was good, but the requirement is we remove the shoes. And I lost the shoes. Couldn't find the shoes for 20-30 minutes. It ended up being that somebody had worn my shoes by accident because they were similar to the other person's shoes. Now, I didn't make a big deal out of it. But, these are kind of the things that you have to deal with when you have a no-shoe policy, is that you have to make sure that your guests don't lose your shoes and all those sorts of factors. Tabitha, you had somebody who say that has kind of spare socks for people to wear. I don't know.
Yes. I've seen also this where they have flip-flops in like a basket of assorted sizes, almost as if like at a nail salon when you get a pedicure, you have like those go-to. I've seen people who've had extra slippers, like again, assortment. And I've also seen someone who had an ingenious idea where they had a bag of socks. So i.e., how sometimes you have a shoe that's you're sockless, and then all of a sudden you're taking your shoe off and now you're barefoot. So that's like again, back to solutions. I think that's a good solution. So i.e., it doesn't go back to the whole apprehension about parting with your shoes if you weren't expecting it. Because, when you go to like a ball, it's like you're not taking your shoes off when you go in. So when you're invited to like an event at someone's home, you're not anticipating that. However, the only solution I can come up with, because again, we're about solutions, we see problems as opportunities. You can, in your invitation, have a disclaimer. I have wood floors. They cost me a fortune. Again, the caption I used, that was like a cute sign that you're allowed to put up, like the concept behind the caption where it says, in life we have choices, either remove your shoes or scrub the floors. That's like using comedy to lighten it up, so to speak. And then also, if you send paper invitations, a little note at the bottom, we don't, wear shoes in the house, FYI. Hopefully, no hard feelings, not trying to make you uncomfortable. So you can prepare. You're anticipating, okay, I'm going to be parting with my shoes. And in that Carrie Bradshaw situation, you'd wear a different outfit because you're going to be parting with your shoes, right? So I think it's basically about the heads up. And I think, again, when we go to Japan, we kind of know that that's been ubiquitous in the culture. And they're absolutely right. There is that whole, I think it comes from a lot of things where maybe having the tatami, I think the floor is tatami, so you don't really wear shoes on that. So there's a lot of different cultural overlaps there, but we know that going in. So I think people knowing going in, when I go, when we take a trip to Tokyo, we know that we're going to be parting with our shoes when we go to individual's house. So maybe similar expectations. Again, from the other side, from the side of individuals who don't like to, I'm very sorry. It's kind of like one of these things where you don't know till you show up. But again, I kind of look at it like it's the house rules, and I want to be polite. That's where I want to err on the side of caution.
Yes, and I think that's a very excellent solution. Telling people before they actually arrive at a place is very important. I would also like to make a little suggestion. Maybe having a very well organized shoe place.
Good point.
For people, so that when people come and there's a large party, people can actually know where their shoes are at, and it's easy to find.
A vacant bookshelf.
We don't have a situation like mine where I was looking for my shoes.
I had that situation too.
30 minutes and I can't find my shoes.
See, as a guy, I think there's a little bit more variety, whereas like in my situation, when I was ready to leave, I was ready to leave at, let's say, 9. I didn't leave till 9:30 because, again, I was looking for my shoes. And in a room full of 30 or 40 ladies, there's a lot of similarities. There's a lot of black shoes. Things look similar. Luckily, maybe the person doesn't wear your size. And the nightmare of people leaving with your shoes on, because that was the whole premise of that Sex and the City, there's always a twist. And someone left with Carrie's shoes. So she not only did not want to part with her shoes, someone wore them. And she walked home barefoot in New York City. It's hilarious. Anywho, that's what we wanted to address today. And we want to hear your thoughts and your feedback. And, we do want to talk more about lifestyle, wellness, cultural things in that nature. Our initial episodes were kind of heavy. I think we talked about slavery. We talked about politics. So, of course, this is like the gambit of things we are going to discuss, and things of that nature.
Yes, and we want to talk about lifestyle. This is what lifestyle, how do you resolve these issues? And it's a great point that you made, Tabitha. Thank you for listening to us, and we appreciate you're listening to this program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and we appreciate your support as always. Have a good day.
Have a good day.